So in the next video after this one, he has you create a body for this head, but he doesn't show you how to make this head. So we're going to get it close, but just for speed's sake, I'm going to skip some of the more subtle details that are on here. I'm also going to make sure that I try to do this so that you don't have to use as many keyboard shortcuts. So I'll try to show you options of stuff up here as well. I'd recommend inside of Illustrator that you change it to Essentials Classic. This will get yours to look much closer to mine since I'm using an older version. That will help you out quite a bit. So older version. Don't worry about the colors not matching exactly. And this will be drawn in the same artboard that you were working on in the previous tutorial. So we're going to start first with this rounded rectangle tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out this rectangle right there. So it's got this like capsule pill shape. Now the color that you have will probably not show up with that one. That was the last one I used. So we're going to go to the swatches. It's this one right here. Or you can go to Window and then scroll down and the swatches are right there. Go ahead and choose this color here. That's it says cyan 0, magenta 50, Y 100. Click on there. Actually, let's use the one right before that. Okay, we're going to duplicate this now because what we want to do is we want to create the skin tone that's underneath this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to go to, with this orange shape selected, we're going to copy and we're going to go to edit and we're going to do paste in front. Then I'm going to switch to this lighter color. Then I'm going to change the fill. I'm going to drop this way down. I'm going to click OK. Now what I want to do is I want to resize this, but I want to resize it from the center. So I'm going to show you a trick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the Alt key on the keyboard, or Option if you're on a Mac, the Shift key, and then I'm going to hold down my mouse key in the corner. What this does is lets me resize it from the center. If you can't get that to work, you can hold down just the Shift key and you can resize it, but then you'll have to grab it from the center and get it to line up. Notice how it's not lining up perfectly. That's what the Alt key was doing. So what you can do is you can highlight both of these. So I switch to my black arrow. I highlight both. And over here where the align is, I can line them up center and center. What that does is it perfectly aligns those with each other. Okay, so looking at this, I can kind of tell I need probably a little bit more. Actually, no, that's okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the outside piece here. That's the orange. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. And now I'm going to grab this corner and I'm going to hold down the Shift key. That'll keep it in a 45-degree angle. And now what I can do, I'm going to keep the Shift key held down. I'm going to start to resize this. What I want to do is I want to line this piece up with the bottom. So notice these little smart guides will pop up. If I highlight these again, I can center and center, although I don't want to do that. I have an option setting that's on here where I'm having it save or align to artboard. So if that comes up, the way I got there is I went to the align tool. You can check and just make sure you have it set to align to selection. What that will do is that will line the stuff up. So now I can line this up at the center and then I can line it up at the bottom. Oops, take that back. I'm just going to nudge this down. And I'm going to hold down the Shift key and the Alt key and bring those in. You can also just use the Shift key. Basically what you're trying to do is get this to line up towards the bottom, yet still have enough for the beard area here. I'm just nudging these things in slightly. And then I'm going to highlight, and on the align, I'm going to center. So that's the way that I constantly will move stuff around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this ellipse again, or this rounded rectangle, I should say. So I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm going to make it really small. These are going to be the eyeballs. I'm going to click on this gray, maybe the darker gray. I'm going to bring these up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So what I'm finding, this is not going to be identical to his, and that's fine. just for sake of speed. I'm holding down the Shift key, and I'm just, making it a little bit smaller. Now, once I have those, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste, or bring those up. Notice that that red smart guide just showed up. It's showing that those are now lined up with each other. So that looks pretty good. They're a little bigger than his, but I'm okay with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this skin tone pill again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit and copy. I'm going to go edit and paste. And now what I want to do is I want to make the area here for his mouth. So I'm holding down the Shift key and I'm just making this smaller. Then, while it's still selected, holding down the Shift key and rotating. And now I'm moving this over here. Move that up just a little bit. I'm just using the arrow keys to do that. And I'm clicking the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab we're going to start messing with this hair up here. So I'm going to select this outside piece. I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. Now I'm going to lay this where it's kind of lined up here, but I'm going to shift it over and down a little bit. I might end up moving his eyes or making them smaller later, but not a big deal. I keep saying that, but I'm super anal retentive about stuff, so I'm going to end up moving stuff around. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight with my black arrow. I'm going to hold down up here, and I'm going to drag this little marquee so it comes down and it covers the hair, so it's selecting all of these things. Now we're going to use the shape builder. I'm going to grab the shape builder, press Alt, and I click on that option if you're on a Mac. That will allow you to get rid of that piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the black arrow. And now I want to draw the nose and the mouth, and then we'll play around with this here in just a second. So I'm going to grab this skin tone circle again. I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. Going to hold down my Shift key. I'm going to bring this way down. I'm going to bring this up here for the nose. And now I'm going to take that same exact one again, and I'm going to move it outside. I just did the Alt key. I told you I wasn't going to use all the keyboard shortcuts. Copy, paste. Sorry, it's a hard habit to break. And then I'm going to click white. Now, one of the things that's happening is if I bring this over, I'm kind of lining it up with his mouth, with his nose. It's got that top part. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring this back out here, and I'm going to grab a rectangle. I can't see the white there now. So I'm going to highlight this again. I'm going to change this one to black temporarily so we can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click away from everything. I'm just going to choose a different color like yellow. And what I want to do is I want to highlight a square over this. Now it's not perfectly lined up there, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you it snaps. See, when I get in here, when it gets to the point where it's snapping in place, it'll work. You can see this is now lined up with this piece. Okay. And actually, it's a little too much, so I'm going to move this up a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make that little semicircle right there. So I just kind of use this box as a way to look at, to clip this. Now I'm going to highlight both of these again with my black arrow. I'm going to choose my shape builder, and I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I'm just going to drag a slash between those. So now I've got the little half circle. I'm going to go ahead and drag this over. Use my arrow keys to move it around, and while it's still selected, I'm going to change that to white. All right, I'm going to do two last things on here, actually three. All right, I'm going to duplicate the nose. So I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. I'm going to rotate them So I'm holding down the shift key when I did that. I'm going to shrink that back in just a little bit. Pardon me. I'm going to put this right here. And now what I want to do is with this one selected, I'm going to right click, arrange, send to back. I can run those back there. And then I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to bring it up here so that it's close to where the other ear is. And the smart guide should automatically line it up. Arrange, send to back. And the last thing, there's shadows and stuff on here. Rather than spending time right now showing you that, I'd rather have you move on to building the body and then getting into the more detailed stuff later. So if you want to know how to do the shadows, definitely hit me up and I'll show you how to do that. But this is really primarily just to get you to the point so that when you do the next tutorial, you'll be able to use this. Now, if you want, what you can do is you can highlight over this entire thing and you can go to here in your quick actions, you can choose group. This way, if the head is too big for the body, if you hold down the shift key, you can scale it down. Or if it's not big enough, you can scale it up. So that's going to be a way that you're going to be able to fit this onto the next video.